Well, just wanted to convey what I understand is wrong with the world, I guess you could say. I guess the answers, the reasons, the this and that, everything. What's wrong? Why things are the way they are. And it goes down to basics of human nature. Briefly introduce myself. Well, if you need to go by names, my name is Michael Wolf. Whatever. Names don't matter. It's just the information and how I got it. I'm enlightened. I was rejected by my family, by everybody socially, everywhere, every time in my life, except for some brief periods where I sat on my own to socialize. But basically, what it comes down to, I wasn't raised by society. I was raised by myself. I raised myself, and thus I was given a natural course of development and achieved more of my potential than most other people. So, and in my experience and perspective, which lies entirely outside of society, although I was raised within it, I was not raised within it socially. So physically in, socially without. And I spent as much time outside of society as I could in my later years, starting in 1996-ish, I think. And actually a lot of time before that, I spent as much time in the camping and canyons and hiking and stuff as I could. So I've spent more of my life outside of society than in. And I've never been never been socially in society. So my perspective is entirely outside of society. And I like to present my observations as to what is quote unquote wrong with, or what the nature of the human species is. My theory, I cannot prove this yet, but my theory is that humans are a combination, not a mixture, but a combination and mixture of primate and pig. This logic, because of the nature of the volume of semen and the nature of how this is theorized, and I believe there's no other way to explain it happens, starts with the hybridization of the reproductive tract and possibly of the egg production. But the volume of pig sperm in ejaculation is 2 cups for a domestic pig, so equivalent for a wild pig. They make a lot. And because the nature of sperm cells is not exclusive to injecting their DNA into their single-strand DNA into an egg cell, it is for injecting it into any cell. That's a lot of cells to be injected with single-strand pork DNA, pig DNA, porcine DNA. So it changes a lot of cells in the reproductive tract and within the peritoneal cavity and possibly within the ovaries of the primate female that is theorized probably numerous times and successfully mated with and had actual viable offspring with pigs. Now, the only way this is possible is through a combination, not a mixing, but a combination of genetics. In other words, we're not half and half. We're 75% and 75%. So we're not half primate, half pig. We're basically 3/4 primate, 3/4 pig. We're 1.5 of whatever we are. Just like the strawberry you eat is 4 of the strawberry that you find in nature, and other vegetables, other examples of polyploidy, as they call it, like that. Now, this obviously isn't strict polyploidy, because you're talking about both combination and mixing. So you've got some weird things going on there with genes, but it's at a genetic level. It's at a gene level, not at a gene or chromosome level, not a individual gene level, not like that. So it's individual genes, individual chromosomes. I mean that we're talking about mixing or changing. So it's the story that we are this combination. And what this means is that we have more brain than we evolved to need. Okay, the human brain is a device that records the state of what it senses in its environment, so that it can, based on previous records, it can predict the future. So the brain is an assumption-making machine. It's an assuming machine. It needs to make the best assumptions possible. but it is a future predicting machine, and all it does is predict the future, so that the living being that uses the brain can survive. It's a survival tool. Everything is a survival tool, and we use our brain to survive by predicting the future, so that we can know what to do to stay alive. So, but we have more brain than we need. Now, how do we say that? Because the brain evolved to record our environment that we're aware of, right? So pigs were aware of the environment they needed to be aware of. Primates were aware of more, but they were still aware of the environment they needed to be aware of. But you put the two together and you have something that's, like we said, something on the order of 150% of its parents instead of 50-50, 75-75. So, it's a combination, not a mixture of its parents. And so you have, something over 150%. And in other words, you have 150%, not saying that's what the number is, but you have extra brain capacity. Thus is born the ability to sense more of the environment than there is. You get what I mean? This brain is evolved to sample its environment and sense its environment and document it. You have one brain that can record X amount, let's say 50 units of environment, and you have another that can record 35. But you have not a mixture of 50 plus 35, the average. You have something more. You have 63. And neither of these is capable of that. So you have more ability to sense the environment than there is environment that it can sense. And what's born from that is imagination. I think that's CFE still. Yeah, that's CFE. Or New Mexican Power Company. Anyway. Yeah, CFE. Go fuck yourselves. Anyway, excuse me. So you have more brain capacity than you need. So imagination becomes possible. You have the ability to imagine more than there is. Now, if you have ability to imagine more than there is, you have ability to make things up. So also born is lying. So the invention of lying was the invention of the human body, which is a combination and mixture of two species, pig and primate. Personally, I believe, and the prevailing theory is, and I really strongly believe this, is that we were taught how to be human by wolves, or whatever canine species was roaming the savannas in the Okavango Delta where we're supposedly born, which I believe was because the primates and pigs were drunk from the fruit that all fell from the tree that fermented, and they got drunk and got it on. Yep, and we were born. So there's the theory, So why are we so fucked up? Well, because we have more than we need. We have more brain than we need. What other species on this planet has built, has constructed, has demonstrated imagination? You cannot build a building unless you can first imagine it. Okay? Ants building colonies, that's something different. They're not building anything, they're deconstructing. Remember, they're taking out what's in their way. They don't know where they need to go. They're just taking out stuff. That's why their structures are completely random looking, or sort of random looking. It's because they basically are. So no other animal out there has demonstrated imagination. No other animal out there is thus a combination of two brains. So our brains did not evolve naturally. Now, because our brains did not evolve naturally, we need to be aware of this so that we can prevent things from happening that can happen when you have more brain than you need, such as using that to harm others, especially in a cultural sense, by imagining yourself as superior, bullying, anything like that, culturally, individually, or otherwise, So we need to recognize this and recognize that we're all equal in being superior to other animals, but also inferior. Because, yeah, we have imagination, but we also have something else that no other species on the planet has. because we are the only ones capable of this. Because we have more brain than we need, and because of something else, but because we have more brain than we need, we have the capability of being less intelligent than we can be. No other species out there can do that. No other species out there can be less intelligent than they should be and survive. We fixed that 2 ways. I mentioned there's another way. The other way is domestication. Humans are domesticated. We found a way to make things easier, even easier. We used our imagination to imagine a way to exploit each other to make life easier for a few and hard work for others, while making it seem like everybody has it good, because we can use our imagination. And because we didn't use what wolves taught us, which is empathy, love. That's all empathy is. It's a physiological connection between individuals and between individuals, often regardless of species, actually. And it allows you to activate the hormones and other physiological channels of another. It's like puppy crying, can get you to want to pick it up and care for it. Same as a baby crying can get you up and want you to get up and care for it. If you're human, if you're not, if you're without empathy, then you're not that way. See, because the human mind, the human brain developing the way it is, we had to learn how to take care of each other, because apparently we didn't know. Apparently we were born out there, rejected by our parents, whatever. I try to imagine what it was like, Whoa, what the fuck is this shit that came out of me? Oh my god, I don't want this hairless, ugly fucking thing. Pigs come along. Yeah, right. Wolves come along. Aww. How fucking ugly, but man, somebody's got to take care of it. God, so bad. So wolves gave a shit. And, what have we done in return? At least that's a prevailing theory. So, why is everything so fucked up? Because stupidity thing. So, if we have the potential to be so intelligent as the most intelligent among us, then if we aren't that intelligent, however much we aren't is how stupid we are. It's measurable. We can measure how stupid we are. But we have to know how potentially intelligent we are first. And the answer to that is that most of us should be geniuses. We don't all need to be. And that's the problem. That's domestication. Everyone should be self-efficient. Imagine if we lived in a world where everyone could take care of themselves, but didn't have to, because we work together, as we should. So what's wrong is we aren't as we should be. We are supposed to be living like wolves in packs. Hey, stop eating stuff off the ground. Stop it. No. Excuse me, dog. Bad. Anyway, so, I'm out here trying to be quiet and being more noisy. Sorry. Anyway, so that's what's wrong. We're a combination. We're a polyploid. We're about I'd say probably on the order of 170%. That much of a combination. Whatever the frontal lobe is here, Just look at the structure of the brains. Look what's different. Look what's an addition. Oh, well, this has this here, but this one. Oh, wow. Instead of comparing us to primates and us to pigs, compare us to pigs and primates. It's all that simple. Look at our genome. Look at how many genes we share with pigs and how many genes we share. Why are our genes 98% similar with primates and also 95% similar with pigs? But yet primates and pigs are only 60% similar or 75%, whatever it is. Oh, because we're part both. Yeah, that's right. Anyway. Okay. I'm going... And you can actually derive that from the genomes, by the way, if you can figure out who our ancestors were. You can derive what percentage of each we got and what we add up to. I know as for me, I feel like I'm about 250. Which is impossible when you combine 100 plus 100. Maybe there was a wolf in there too. I don't know. Ow. Ow. I think I just broke a toe. Okay, I have to stop now.